I'm gonna hit record. All right, awesome. Perfect. All right, so welcome James, welcome everyone, both of you, all of you who are here with us today. I was just telling them before you hopped on and I found out there were tech issues and I started sweating that we're so excited to have you with us for this really fun Q&A. And I was telling them that when I started taking these trainings back in 2019, when I first started working with you, they totally changed the trajectory of our business and the way that we started operating in our business. And that's why we're here together, because I know what a difference that they made for us. And it's such an honor. And I've been walking them through 100 leads all week in our Facebook group. And it's so cool to be able to bring you on with them. And I hope everyone knows that this is like a real special treat.
Oh, well, yeah. Thanks for having me. And this was an extra special. I don't know if it was because we expanded it to be like last year we did the trainings in 1 week and it was like, that was intense for everybody. And then like the decision to just put a day in between was this really nice space to like practice and do the homework and not feel rushed. And I don't know, it's just a real special group. And so honored to be here and really grateful. And thank you guys for going through it. But it's also, there's so many questions that come in. I mean, I was struggling on the live because all these questions are coming in. And for whatever reason, when I was looking at on the Facebook, it was like only going 20 questions deep and then like deleting it for me on my screen. I'm like, man, I'm trying to answer them as much as I can. So I think it's important because I think this is that extra 5%, you know, when you can get a little like, no, do it like this, or, you know, change this, add this. And we have in Business by Design, we just did a training call where we're taking them through this framework of copy. And I'm like, okay, say yours. And it's like, no, add this word. Nope. Change this. Okay. Get rid of this, add this, boom, boom, boom. Now see the difference. And it's like those little tweaks are the things that always, you know, become the 95.5, if you will. So this is good that we're doing this.
Yeah, I'm pumped. And I want to share something that made the biggest impact for us with 100 leads. And I want to make sure that everyone really gets it, because you always say with everything, with all of your coaching, like start with the end in mind.
Yeah.
And it's no different with 100 leads, that you have everyone start with the end in mind, start with the thing that you're selling and work backwards. And that little nugget, that's really like, if you lived your whole life by it, then
100%.
Wow.
And when it comes to the world of selling, it's begin with their end in mind, you know, the customer's end in mind, and you're walking them back. That's spot on.
So can you share a little behind the why there, like why that if you just like 100 leads, and I've told you this before, could literally be a paid for course, hands down. And if you just walked away with that one takeaway, you could make a lot of money in your business.
Mm-hmm. So what was the question? Why do it that way?
Yeah. Why do it that way?
Well, I think the first place to start is like cheesy and cliche as it is, but it's the same thing as like, how many times have we heard hindsight is 2020? You know, it's so much easier to look back than to look forward. So a lot of this has to do with perspective. And so when you start with the outcome, everything is in the outcome frame, and we see it from the outcome, how we got here, versus looking at the base of Mount Everest and looking up and saying, how the heck do we do this? And so that's the simplest version. So I found that I was doing that a lot in just every area of my life. I have a goal in any area, and I'm really taking myself there and realizing that I had to change in order to get there. You know, that's why I'm not there yet, because there's something I'm doing that I shouldn't be doing, or not doing that I need to be doing, or something I'm holding on to that I need to let go. And so I really started applying that to marketing, and that changed. And where this is not like a fun, flowery, optional way of doing this, but an absolute prerequisite, is that if you're not doing it this way, all of your marketing, your content, your messaging, everything that's designed to move people and make the sale is through your lens instead of theirs. And so it's more about what you want and what you're trying to do and what you think and what you like. And that's such a huge problem. Like I remember getting into like the power of great storytelling. And when you look at storytelling and using story in your marketing, you have a hero and you have a guide. And most online experts are trying to be the hero in the story. And then they want someone else to buy from them. But people, every one of your prospects is the hero. You're the guide. You are literally guiding them. That's why the classic cliche example of Star Wars is perfect. You're not Luke Skywalker in your business, in your marketing. When you go and create a piece of content, when you go create that opt-in, you must be the Obi-Wan. And you're Obi-Wan going to Luke and saying, hey, we got this adventure we got to go on. And here's a lightsaber. Let's do it. And I'm going to teach you how to use it. And when you watch the original Star Wars, you don't get Obi-Wan's story. We don't know his story. And it's not that we're not telling our backstory in bits, but it's not about him as much as it is about Luke. And why this is so important then is because everything then becomes about, and I really hope this makes sense because it's sometimes hard to fully communicate, that if we do the opposite of beginning with the end in mind, we begin with the beginning in mind, then everything is kind of created from what do I want to create? What do I want to do? What do I want to be known for? What do I want to teach? And what do I want to sell? And your marketing is, how do I convince people? How do I convince them? How do I package it and make it something? And I've had people come to me, it's like, oh, James, so how do I convince people to do this? How do I convince people that they need this? It's like, good luck, buddy. What a waste of time and personal power and energy anyways. But instead, when you do it that way, right, you're trying to fit what you want to the market. But when you begin with the end in mind, your everything comes from what they're already asking for, what they already want, what they already need. First 100 leads was born out of that. So many people who are coming into our world and our space were just saying, the biggest thing that's getting me from getting off the sidelines and in the game is I'm speaking to a ghost town. Well, what do you mean? It's like, I have no audience. I have no reach. I don't need a ton of people yet. I just want to get a group of people that I can get in front of, that I can be engaged with and who could know me for something and want to listen to me. And I said, if I put together a training that would really powerfully help you do that, would that be something you're interested in? Yes. Okay, great. And so I really hope that makes sense.
Yeah. And I would love to hear in the chat, like how many people have felt like that ghost town? Because I know before I took this, I felt like that too. I would love to just dive into the convincing piece for a second, because I think that is so important. Like, why shouldn't we be trying to convince people?
Well, because the way I always look at human beings, and this is what's so beautiful. I mean, this goes beyond your market, your niche. Like, this is just human beings and human nature and really understanding how we're all wired. And we're desire-driven creatures. So there's always something we all want. And that's why you hear things like contrast creates clarity. So how many of you had an experience where you see something that someone else has that you don't have, and all of a sudden you want it? Like, oh, wow, did you see they just got a new Tesla down the street? You know, the Smiths got that new, like those SOBs, first you have your little side comment about them, and then you're like, you know what, I think I want a Tesla now. Yeah, let's get, and there's always things that we want, and that's beautiful. We're come here to dream and to think bigger and dream bigger. And that's that, so that is all born within us. Like, everyone here has something within you that's like, I want. And unfortunately, by the way, just a little side hack is like, we need to honor those desires instead of judging them or judging ourselves, because you will always want something. And what we have to do is like really honor and cherish that you want something that you're going after, and be okay not having it yet. Like, have some patience. I think we're as a society, we're getting less and less patient. And it's like beautiful to say like, yeah, I'm working towards something, and it's a big vision. It's a big goal. It's not nearly there yet, but I am taking steps towards it every day. So if you have that within you, we can all think of something. You can all think of something you like really want. And then imagine me coming along and trying to convince you not to want that and to want something instead. And you would probably tell me to F off, and it would be such a waste of time anyways, So that's what we're getting at. And I can always go deeper. I can give examples of that, but your people, the people out there that you're here to serve, already want something. So how much easier is it to just do that? Go ahead.
You have a metaphor that I know you've shared with us before. Yeah, the river.
The river. So the river is as simple as this. If we are on this life and we're on this journey and we're desire-born creatures, like we'll always have desire until we die, then we are moving, and we're moving like a river. And so if you can just imagine, if you guys are very visual, this really helps too, that you are like a river. Your market is like a river. Okay. So they are, just kind of tune into that, even if it's just like an energy or a feeling for a moment. Like there's your market, and your market is going down the river. And the river is the energy, and the vector. Vector is like, has a direction, it has a force, it moves, of the market. And if you have been in your market for a long time, you'll know it's different today than it was 10 years ago, because it's moving. So everything's constantly in flux. And so smart marketers are just present to the market, and they say, well, where is it now? And where is it going? Where do they want to go? Where do they want to be? What do they want to have? What do they want to do? And so the smart business owner, because we have to be not just amazing coaches that change lives, but we have to be good enough to get people to buy our stuff so we can actually freaking change their life, is instead of what the struggling person does is they set up shop like maybe 50 feet off the bank of the river. And think about what has to happen in nature, or even man-made structure, to change the course of a river so that we come to you, and how much effort that takes, versus the smart person just stakes their flag right downstream in the river. And when you're doing that, people just come to you. And that's one way in which we're talking about when we say like attract your people. The only way to attract, yes, there's a energetic way of it, of course, but the way to attract is to be the thing they already want. So they're manifesting. Look at it from a manifestation standpoint. They're manifesting. So be their manifestation. They can't manifest you if they don't already want you. So be the thing that they already want. And when you flip that, so that what you do, your wants for them are more important for your wants of yourself, you get everything that you want. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? No. What do they already want? What do they need? And I can't tell you how much my business has been driven by, it's a lot easier for me today, but it had to be a bit of a conscious process in the past to be like, get up every day and be like, what do they need from me right now? What are they asking for? What do they want? What are they struggling with? How can I help? How can I be of service to them? And I was just always tuning to that. And believe it or not, like I'd start getting ideas and topics and videos and quotes and all that stuff. And I just stayed in that. And I was giving them what they already wanted, that they didn't know. Not like they didn't know how to do it, right? They, give some, that's what that means. Like to want something is to mean there's something that they simultaneously, they have to acknowledge they don't have it. So I'm going to give them something they don't have that they want. And we all need to be doing that. And unfortunately, and I love you all so much, but a lot of what's still in the comments, and I can only do so much in free stuff. I get a little tougher in our paid programs with people. We still want to say it our way. In a confusing, there's a lot of the confusing flowery, I can't say that word anymore. Flowery, kind of nebulous, like it's kind of got a little too much like self-importance to it. Like you're trying to be significant or unique, which don't get me wrong, it's great to be unique in your marketing, but not at the expense of being clear. not at the expense of being down the river, because it does not matter how creative and clever and flowery you are. If you've set up shop 100 yards off the banks of the river, they're never coming. And that's what's happening. And I don't want that for you guys.
How do you know, like, what are the symptoms if you are setting up shop or going against the river?
That's a really great question. I mean, the first one is in the questions that you're asking. You know what I mean? Like, you can do it within your own silo first of like, when you come up with something, where is that coming from? Is that coming from like, wow, what do I want to create? I've been there, guys. So like, I've just been doing this a really long time. So it used to be a lot of like, oh, what's going to have me stand out? What's going to be my thing? What's my uniqueness? And what's this? And it was all about what's the cool thing I can say or do, or what's the cool word or label or whatever. And so even within that, that's a big indicator versus the only question about yourself that I invite my students to ask is, who do I want to serve? And the moment you have that, every other question from there and every answer you receive should spring from what do they already want? What are they already asking for? Where are they going? So we can actually, believe it or not, I think we can start from within there. The second thing is like, look, I get it for some of us that are just getting started. It's a journey. It's a process. And what I always say is there's two 3D resources that it will take from you to get where you want to go. And the problem is most people want it now. They want it instant. They want it fast. And they go, if I don't get it immediately, then it didn't work. And we have to navigate that. And that's why I have to be very careful with these answers, because we'll have someone listening here that didn't have a business a week ago. So they didn't have this business a week ago. So they didn't have any audience already. And so no one was following this for this. And so then they go put something out there and they get zero engagement on it. And they go, oh, I did this wrong. And that's why I share on day 4, I believe it was, that there's 3 things we got to look at that may be the symptoms as to, or causes, for the present symptoms of no engagement. One of them could be, if I go to an empty stage at a concert hall and there's no one in the audience, and I have the best offer on the planet and I have the best message, but no one's there in the room to hear it, I'm not going to get any feedback. I'm not going to get an applause. No one's going to come to the back of the room and give me money. So the first thing you have to go is if I'm not getting the results I want, engagement or whatever, am I even in front of an audience at all? That's the first thing. If you're like, no, I am. I've been working with these people. I know a lot of them already. We connect, etc. Then you'll know. You'll know because of the way it hits. You'll know because of the things that they say. You'll know because of the things they tell you. And that's, really, really, really important. So I'm always looking to feedback. We use today a lot of social media I use really 2 places, actually, interestingly enough. I use a lot of social media, and I'll use my existing programs to test a lot of how I communicate things. Like what words am I using or what angles or how am I getting attention? And I can get a lot of feedback in real time. But here's what I want to just like say, and it's the most important piece, is that, and this is just like me really wanting everyone who wants this being business, coaching, clients, course, whatever it is, to be as successful as possible, is you're never going to get any results on the sideline. And, you score points when you're on the field and only there. And that also means you're not going to get it in your head either. And that's kind of like the problem, is like everyone wants it figured out, perfect, cleared. They want all the steps before they get started. And I was doing that for a long time. But today, looking back, I realized that things changed when I just said, I just got to get in the game and I got to start just putting stuff out there consistently. And I had this very simple thought that I just want to pass on to you guys, that like, I'm like, wow, I'm really glad I just hooked onto that thought. Cause I said, this is going back like 2010. I 2009, 2010. I said, I'm a nobody. And that's okay. But I started with YouTube. I said, but I'm going to start putting videos out there. And I said, here's my secret plan. And this was like my total, I don't know how I'm so like proud of like young, dumb James who figured this out. But I was like, I looked around. I said, most people have no discipline, no commitment, and no consistency. And I said, so they put a couple of videos up for a few weeks and then they stop. And when I see that leaves an impression on me as a customer, prospect, or audience member. I said, you don't really take this seriously. So why would I take you seriously? I said, that's going to be my thing. Is someone may find me this week and someone might find me 2 years from now. And if they find me 2 years from now, they're going to look back and they're going to see that this guy posted at least one video every single week. And that's going to leave them knowing this guy doesn't just know what he's talking about. He's committed. He's in it for the long haul. And it's because of that, they can trust him. And so some of you think that you can just start a business in a week and someone is going to hitch their wagon to you and trust you when you don't have any of that clout, experience, case studies, track record, whatever. And then you're disappointed when a month or two goes by and people didn't work with you. And then you give up. And that's so sad to me. Now, we can get clients in 90 days or less, boom. But to build something like real and lasting and successful and profitable, I mean, I'm shooting myself in the foot here because the people that are just want a quick win and the opportunity seekers then go, okay, well, then I'm not going to work with you. But that, to me, where I am in my life, I'm like, that's fine, because I don't want to work with those people anyways, because they'll never be successful. And that's always like the joke I say is, you want to know the quickest way to make money online is stop thinking, or falling for the make money online quick things. Like, this isn't 1999 anymore. And if you want to build a real business, instead of having to go back to your job or do something else you hate and you want to go all in, like, let's do this. And that takes a little bit of time, but you can start getting results at every step of the way. And don't fool yourself in thinking being on the sidelines means that's logging time. Let me say that again. It's going to take time, but it's time out on the field. Logging hours on the field. So some people say, I've been trying this for 4 years. Like, no, you haven't. You've been thinking about it for 4 years. Get in the freaking game and get knocked down and get tackled and get sacked and get hit and get back up and let's go and let's do this. And obviously when we are doing it together and we're in a community and we support each other, like, it doesn't hurt as bad. The hits don't hurt as bad when you're with people that are like, yeah, I got my first hater too, or this person didn't like me, or this person disagreed with me. And you'll get to a place where someone like Nicole and myself are at, where like, it just doesn't affect you anymore because you don't take it personally. And you realize that the people that you do follow, look up to, and you want businesses like theirs have just shifted within themselves in how they relate to all that stuff. And that was a really big, I go off on tangents. I'm sorry, guys, but that was a really big shift for me was how much power I was giving away to people because I cared so much about what they think. And I cared more about what people think than how I could help people. And that's why I wasn't helping people and therefore wasn't growing my business. And so I had to get my priorities straight. And some of you do too. Some of you, the only reason you're not jumping in and doing more is because you're more concerned about your ego or how good you look or what someone might think of you. And the moment you're free of that, you're just unleashed. And I can't really do that for you. Like, that's an internal process. It's just a choice. Every time you go, I can't, James gave us a template for this and this question's been great and all that stuff, but I can't post that. What do you mean you can't? Like, you don't know how, or you're unable, or you're just afraid. And it's fine. We're all going to face we're going to experience fear. Whether we face those fear and conquers that fear is going to determine whether you're successful or not. And that's just the truth, right? You can't fear your way to the business that you want. And we're all going to experience fear. But if we're listening to fear, then you don't get to go where you want to go. And the moment you go, I can't post that because, well, why not? Because I mean, what if someone from my neighborhood, or what if my family sees this, or what if someone from high school sees it? Who cares? Who cares? And I realized for a really long time in my life, I was just living for other people and for their, it was like so weird. It was like a museum. Like in a museum, you know, you got all the nice artifacts and delicate stuff. And it's like, don't touch anything. And I wanted my life to be like a museum. Like, okay, everyone who knows me, don't say anything bad about me. In your mind, out loud, behind my back, in front of me, nothing. No. So who do I need to be? And how much do I need to shrink and tiptoe so everyone will just love me and like me and be nice to me and only say positive things about me? And then you wake up and realize and say, this no matter what you're doing, people are going to have their opinions, judgments, and thoughts and whatever's. Some vocal, some within their head. You guys have had yours. You know, you might be saying, why is he wearing a yellow shirt? You know, well, you have your little chitter chatter in the mind. That's fine. And why are we letting that drive our lives? Why are we letting that say, okay, then therefore I shouldn't live my best life, or do the thing that I know I'm here to do, or do the thing I just want to do, or get out of something that makes me miserable? And that's, I can go on these rants and tangents forever because they really light me up. And it's like, I thought we were learning how to build our list. But at the same time, I've worked with so many clients for so long, and I can give you guys a strategy, and we have, but that's not the part that holds people back. No one's sitting here on the internet today saying, you know, the only thing preventing me from growing my business is there's just not enough internet information on the internet on how to grow a business. Are you kidding me? It's out there. And then it becomes, so why aren't I implementing it? And what am I really, and these are questions that only you can answer, is what am I really afraid of will happen if I just pull the trigger on one of these strategies or one of these plans? And it comes down to fear. You know, I never really want to be like overly simplistic, but what are we afraid of? And what are you afraid of really? And hopefully maybe some of you, as you're hearing this, something's coming up. You're getting an answer. If you want to post, great. If you're too afraid to post, there's fear driving your decisions. What a courageous thing to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Here's what I'm afraid of. Boom. And I'm going to share it in front of a bunch of people. Boom. I don't care what they think about. That's what I'm talking about. In this little silo, we're in the huddle right now. We're not on the field. We're in the huddle. You know what I mean? But then it's like, it's halftime and we got to go back out there and we got to win the freaking game. Right. And some of us are like, oh, I don't even want to share in here. There's more of that fear. Right. And what I would just leave for you guys is if something is coming up for you, if you're like, yeah, what I'm afraid of is this. My continual experience over 15 years is that I will tell you that fear is not going away. And so what most of us, our strategy becomes is someone's out there who's going to remove the fear for me, and then that'll tell me I can get in and go. Someday I'm going to find a program or a coach that will wave the magic fairy dust, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not afraid anymore. And then I'll start. And some of you maybe have been waiting a really, really long time for that. And that's a really, that's where I struggled for a long time. But what's as simple as that is the fear dissolves the moment you act on it. And it's as simple as that. And things will happen. People will not like you. They will disagree with you. They will judge you. They will say something about how you look, how you talk, what you say. And that's inevitable for all of us. It's just a question of, am I going to let those people take me down? Or am I going to rise above? That's always our choice, every moment. Okay, I wasn't really looking at the comments too much, but hopefully that.
Yeah. A lot of people saying they can relate. And I'll share something that came up for me, because I know that this, I think, will help all of you watching, and something that I know, James, you dealt with. As you said, I used to be that person too, I would always worry. And you and I have talked about this over the years. I would always worry about what in-person people would think about what I was doing. I was always worried about my high school friends. I would always worry about my college friends. I was always worried about other moms at pickup, what they would think about me. And something that you helped me shift, and I had to realize and see myself, was that I was placing so much self-importance on myself.
Yeah.
And I was so worried about what people would think about me. And I wasn't thinking about the people that needed my help. And once I made that shift around, like, it's not about me, even though I knew that for so many years, because like I quit my teaching job in 2011. It'll be 11 years that I've been my own boss next month. Once I made that shift and realized it's not about me, like, stop making it about me and made it about them, even though I knew that on some level for so many years, that was the thing that finally allowed me to get out of my own freaking way and stop worrying about what other people thought.
Yeah. Well, this is great. That's coming in right now too. Like, Brooke, thank you. This is great. My thing is not knowing what to post. Now she's already starting to coach herself out of it because it's total BS. And then Miller says, same here. You guys got duped. You got your ego, your Tenaltas completely lied to you, and you bought it. Because when you really sit with it, it's not true. And even Brooke started to like feel sense of it. It's like, well, it's really like feel like worried or afraid that my content will become repetitive. Now, Brooke, just take it further with me. And then if you want coaching, I don't know if we can bring someone on live or just through the chat. If you want help, if not, then no worries. But Brooke, what are you worried would happen if your content became repetitive? What's the worst thing that your brain has been telling you? Like, here's what would happen if your stuff became repetitive. Could you put that in the chat?
And Brooke, if you're up for coming on, I can do that too. So let us know in the chat.
Let me see.
All right, she's open.
Oh, great. Okay, good. Thanks, Brooke. That's awesome. That's scary. Coming up to the plate.
It's gonna take a second. Hold on, she's coming.
Brooke.
Okay. Brooke, you should be able to turn your mic on.
Okay. Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Hey, take your time.
And this is like, talk about courageous. This is very courageous.
I'm trying to get in the fire. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to mute to get the kids out of here and come right back.
No worries.
I'm going to read through.
Yeah, we have some really, really good comments above what Brooke said, which I know that you could talk. I know you could talk an hour on this, so I don't want to go on a whole tangent. But what Meredith said is really, really good thing to be aware of. It's what we expect out of our clients to truly get the transformation we want, but it's hard to stay consistent when we feel defeated at times. It's hard to stay consistent when we feel defeated.
Yep, totally. It is. But, if it was easy, everyone would do it. And that's the beautiful thing. I just love that quote. Entrepreneurship is doing what others are completely unwilling to do, and therefore get to experience, achieve, do, and have what most others don't. And I did a podcast recently for someone else, and going through challenges and stuff I've gone through in my life, they're like, how are you like alive? Like, how are you okay? Let alone like thrive and your business grows. I said, well, at the heart of it is because I chose this. You know, I didn't choose a route of watching, you know, binge watching Netflix and eating Cheetos all day. You know, I could have. We all can. And we chose this. And we need to remember that. I chose this. I chose a path that of entrepreneurship is more challenging. And like, I know there's a lot of people out there that want to say, like, if you have a computer and an internet connection, you can make $1 million or whatever. And we buy into all that stuff, and that's fine. And it's sad that no one told you that, like, yeah, of course it's going to be more challenging to get than getting a job. That's why most people just go and get a job. You know, running a business, creating your own thing, that is more challenging, but it doesn't mean it's not, like, still simple, doable, possible, and very profitable, right? And I don't know. I think it's tough, and we're all tougher. So Brooke's on. Okay. So Brooke, let me go back to your comment. So great.
Mhm.
Not knowing what to post, and I feel like my content will become repetitive. Just answer that in a sentence or a word. If it became too repetitive, what is your brain worried would happen if that happened?
I don't even think I've thought about that perspective.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't thought about, oh, if it is repetitive, then what? I feel like it's more so like, oh, I guess it getting old, it being repetitive is like, oh, it's old and nobody is gonna care if you keep posting the same thing. Cause I feel like my topic is birth. Like, I'm a doula. And so I'm trying to get more engagement. I'm trying to put myself out there more, but I feel like one video explains it all, but not really.
Got it. Okay, cool. Okay. I'm going to help you with a few things here, and this will help everyone, because I know some other things came up too for people's, like, how do I say what I need to say, and et cetera. So first of all, what I don't want you to do, Brooke, is say, I don't know what to post, and it's not going to be relevant, or it's going to be too repetitive, or no one's going to care, because I just try on, and for a moment, trust me, that those are just the stories we tell ourselves to stay a little safer and comfortable. Because number one, birth is a pretty relevant topic to human beings. I think we will continue to procreate and carry on our species for some time. So that's good. It's going to stay relevant. And I think there are people that are always looking for more and more people, actually, for more alternative methods and support for pregnancy and birth. And I think you would very easily agree with that. Now, what happens, and what we can all be very guilty of, is when we know our stuff so well and we're so in it, we kind of tend to take for granted what we know. And we tend to think that a lot of what we know is, like, already a given and already obvious, and, like, they should know this.
I feel like that.
Yeah. And that's very, very common. So it's then going to feel very uncomfortable, because now you're going to share things that are like, this feels way too simple and way too easy. But from someone who isn't in that world whatsoever, this is like, what? Like, there are times I'm like, I don't want to talk about getting your first 100 leads. Like, come on, like, that's simple. We can do that, right? And then you have thousands and thousands. I mean, we had 13,000 people opt in for the first 100 leads in like 10, 12 days. And I was like, wow, what a jerk of me to make an assumption like, oh, come on, this is too basic. People have got this figured out by now, right? No. And the more we can start there, the better. And so here's a great formula for how we can create amazing content so fast and so easy. And Brooke's going to demonstrate this. Think of someone that is thinking of, I guess, hiring a doula? Would that be like what they're kind of looking to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is someone who just became pregnant, maybe? Give me a few. What are some of the big mistakes or misconceptions? Now, what a misconception is a mistake of the mind. That's what I call a misconception. Yeah, you got some?
Yeah. Actually, it's from the 100 leads. It's in my notebook right here. Okay, so one mistake is like feeling like birthing at a hospital is safer than birthing at home.
Right. So let's just go with that.
Okay.
Because we can go on and on and on and on. And that's the advice I have for you guys for content. Write down and identify, when you tune into your audience, especially when you tune into your audience where they are, right? Like I just got pregnant or something, you know what I mean? Or wherever they are in that journey. Maybe they're still thinking about getting pregnant. I don't know. Maybe they're, they just found out they're pregnant, right? Whatever that stage is we want to say, okay, what are all the mistakes that they're making that they could make? And what are the misconceptions? And what a great one to say home birth is more dangerous, or even just having the question of is a home birth more dangerous or is a hospital safer? Da, 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 da. And so that's a piece of content right there, right? That's it. I mean, you could create that content as many different ways. You could create that as our hospital, is a hospital birth really as safe as people believe it is? Well, here's some facts or information that might change your mind. And then another piece of content is what's safer, at home or hospital birth? Well, let me show you the pros and cons of each. That you can create several pieces of content. Here are 5 things that most people didn't know about a home birth that actually make it safer. Here's the little known fact or statistic or whatever about a home birth that may surprise you, that makes it safer than you can imagine. Now we go off of that. Okay. Now everything can spring from that. Well, why would someone think a home birth is not safe? Well, one of it would they be say, well, if there's a complication, you're not at a hospital. So now you have a piece of content that says, what do you do if if you do a home birth, but there's a complication during labor? And here's what you do. I don't know the answer to any of these questions. And I'm definitely not in any way that it's always funny when I'm giving content suggestions in a niche. I'm like, I know nothing about this, but I can still do it.
Yeah. And one of my titles was how to avoid complications in birth.
Yeah. That's another great piece of content. Absolutely. And yeah, and we can do that many different ways, preparing for your home birth, what to expect for your home birth, like how to know if a home birth is right for you. These are all amazing things.
Oh yeah.
They're what they're really doing is getting people clarity on, because where you're leading people is where they're at. Like I said, is they're thinking about it. Maybe I want to do this, but I'm afraid I have worries, fears, and objections. So a lot of your content is to eliminate, dismantle, remove the fears and worries, concerns, and misconceptions they would have about home birth. And they go, oh, wow, I've learned so much from Brooke that like, this is how I'm going to do it. Like, I'm doing this. How do I sign up with her? What's the next step with her? How do I work with her? Now I'm in. Before I had some concerns, I was afraid. I was uneducated on the topic. And now I know what to be prepared for. I know what to expect. I know what a home birth is really like. I know the facts. I know the stats. I know that I'm educated. And now I want to know how. Or if it's a service or whatever, as a coach or whatever, it's like, now I need her to guide me through the process as we go through it, whatever that is. And that's it. And you know what? If it's repetitive, who cares? You know why? Because in your market, Brooke, it's different than my market, because you could be hanging out with me now and 2 years, you're still hanging out with me and you're learning different stuff. And it's like, wow, James always has something new. He's not repetitive. He's like, first he was talking about leads and like, oh my gosh, now he's talking about like team and scaling and like paid advertising and all this stuff. It's like, that's different than me. But guess what? Your market's completely different. People don't stay pregnant for 3 years, right? So you have a different type of market where there's always people coming in, and as soon as they come in, they're looking for an answer, and 9 months or less, they're having that baby, with or without you or whatever they decide to do. That train has left the station and it's happening, and then they're out, and then a new person's coming in, and a new person and a new person. So we can't look at it as like, this is repetitive. It's like, it has to be repetitive because you got new people entering your market every second of every day, and we need to be there for them when they come into the market. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Just drop all of those little silly notions and be like, I need to be there to have the answers when someone is looking, and there's someone who's looking right now in this moment. That's what's crazy. There's someone looking right now. There's someone looking now, right now. There's someone else on this planet that just go, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. Or there's someone else that's saying, you know what? I think I'm going to do this home birth. Right now in this moment, there's someone else just popped up saying, I think I'm going to look for a doula. There's someone else that just Googled it. And where are we? And how do they find us when they do those searches? And if it's repetitive, who cares? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great, Brooke. Thank you. Cool. Awesome. Well, hopefully that was helpful to others as well. You know, we're all in different markets, but there's so much like universal principles at play.
I think too, like just kind of reframing the whole idea about being repetitive too. Like you say, I say, as coaches too, like how many times does it take for people to hear the same thing before they really get it? Like I'm sitting here with you. I've been working with you since 2019, and there's still things for me to take away from this.
Always. Yep. Doris said the same thing. It's my second time going through this program, and it's the first time I'm truly understanding what I need to do. Well, this is so meta. What Nicole and I and Doris just brought in is like, we have to repeat ourselves because it takes a while for people for those things to seep in, because it's the same experience when you read a book the second time and it's like, it's a different book. No, it's not a different book. Silly. You're a different person. And so Doris, the fact that you've now gone through it a second time and you're getting it differently is just evidence of your own growth. What's one of the things I learned a long time ago, and this is a really hard thing for people to get, is that when you're noticing that things around you change, like, wow, that makes more sense now, or, well, that person looks this or different, or I don't know, different, that this just seems different. 9 times out of 10, they aren't changing. It's not changing. It's because you changed. It's really hard to see our own change and our own growth, but how we see things now seem different because we've changed. And so Doris, the fact that it's like, I'm getting this more, it's like, that's just evidence of your change. It's not like I added things to the program that weren't there before. That's you. That's all you. You know what I mean? And that's really cool.
And I said so many times too, in 100 leads, that's why it's so important that you don't focus on getting things perfect, that you just take action and give yourself permission to do it messy the first like 3 times, forever.
Yeah, it's experience. That's what's going to be the ultimate teacher. Like, we're here to give you a framework and point you in the right direction and then push you off the cliff, as they say, or into the deep end of the pool. And like, that's how you learn how to swim. And we just want that, for y'all. So, yeah.
Can we talk a second about how I think this is coming up in the chat around kind of doing things, feeling defeated, maybe not getting the results that you thought you were going to get? And I know it's so easy for people to sit here and see you and see me and be like, wow, they must have everything figured out. So how have you learned to not take things so personally?
And when you say things, you mean like temporary defeats,
maybe results, maybe the missing sales goals, maybe hearing, quote unquote, negative feedback from clients.
Yeah. I did for a long time, obviously. And just not today, anymore. And there's a lot of things at play. Like, first, it's inevitable. Like, there's just no way around it. And it's like, kind of going back to what I was saying before, is like, so you chose this. So that's like, we just need to reframe that for people. Like, people think like, no, I'm just going to do it. And there will never be a challenge. It'll never be a problem. There'll never be a failure. There'll never be a disappointment. There'll never be a struggle. There'll never be something that says something negative. And it's just going to instantly be successful. It's like, if that's all you want, then, go play the lotto. But you'll be disappointed in that as well. And, I think it's managing expectations in that sense. So people get these goals in their head, and then they turn the goal into an expectation or attachment. And so attachment, to me, quite literally means we've attached an emotion or a meaning that invokes an emotion to something external that we have really little control over. So when your launch didn't do the thing you did, or you post that thing and it didn't do what it did, and you like go into a shame spiral and you're just so embarrassed and like afraid or whatever it is, you're reacting so much to the expectation that you had. I expected it to go this way, and I was attached to that expectation. Excuse me. And because that didn't happen, it means something about me. And what this is now, if we get into this, this is the mother effing game changer here. Part of then what happens is we create a prediction. So we get all fired up. I'm going to do this. We create a goal. The goal becomes an expectation. Like, I expect this. Like if someone here is like angry because I didn't answer their question, I expected James to answer my question. I was like, well, I never said I would, you know? And now I'm in my expectations. And then I have an attachment to that goal that, you know, I want 100 leads by this date, and it didn't happen. So the attachment is this meaning. Therefore, you know what? It's not meant to be for me. I'm not cut out for this. If you guys want to share, see who's actually willing to do that, any meanings that they may have already noticed that they get created around unmet expectations and unmet goals. Like if you didn't get if your first post didn't work, where'd your brain go? What'd your brain make it mean? What's the story you started telling? What's the interpretation that you gave? Yeah, that I'm not good enough. Okay. What else? That I'm not cut out for this, that they don't like me, that I got a bad product. You know, what was it? Then what we do, if you can get present to that, we then go and create predictions. And they don't even seem like predictions. They're decisions about the future. How many of you have already had some sort of breakdown in your business over the past week or so, and you realize that it was actually, the breakdown is really because you decided something was going to go a different way in your future? Is that, can you guys let me know in the chat box? Does that make sense? I haven't lost you guys. Have I? Yes. Like no one wants to hear from me. They don't like me. They don't respect me. Okay. So then now what is that? What decision gets made about the future? What prediction got created in that moment about the future? And I want to see if you guys can put some in the chat box. Like I did a post, it didn't get engagement. Therefore, that means no one wants to listen to me. And therefore, as it comes to the future of my business, it means what? Yeah, this new thing, excuse me, this new thing isn't going to work. I should just stick doing it. And Meredith, how does that feel when your brain said, here's what your future looks like, so just stick with your old business model because this thing ain't going to work? Katie, how does that feel when you're present to, this is going to fail? It's going to fail before it even started, right? Let's see. Denise says I had a post not do great and I made it about me. It's not about me. I felt like, who's going to choose me as a coach? Exactly. When you go into those questions, quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask. What crappy questions we ask ourselves? Who wants to choose me as a coach, right? Oh, Katie, yeah, I'm going to be stuck in my day job forever. Okay. So here's how this works. You said you're going to do something in alignment with a new future. You do it. It doesn't go the way that you planned. Then you create a meaning about yourself and a prediction about your future. Now, if I can land this, and because this is kind of like, in a way, a whole big thing that I teach, but I'm like trying to make it as small as possible. The moment you declare that this is how the future is going to go, this business will never work. That's the future. Okay. You've decided that fate for yourself, or I got to stay in my day job or whatever. That becomes the future you live into. Still with me? Say yes. That moment you create the prediction, that becomes the future you live into. Now, the future that you live into is the future that creates who you are in the present. And it's who you are in the present that determines what you create. So who here, just type in me, who here is familiar with the be, do, have model? So people, talk about it. be, do, have, but then they're like, who do I need to be? Who do I need to be? Who do I need to be? I'm going to be this. And the answer to causing and creating who you're being doesn't need to be in your head as much as it is. It's like, who do I need to be to be to be to be to be? It's like, well, who you're being right now is someone who's just like asking a million questions and overthinking things. Funny enough. And so the most powerful transformative way to use be, do, have is to just get clear on what's the future I'm living into, because that's what creates us in the present. And if we have these futures that we're worried about, like, it's not going to work, I'm not going to be able to afford this, I don't have the money, I'm afraid, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Look at the state you put yourself in, and that actually is where you drive your life. And on one hand, what I had to do when I really got this and just changed my whole life and my whole business is I had to be okay with those things happening. Maybe your business will not work. Maybe this business will fail. Maybe you won't get engagement. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that. And when you can be okay with that and still give it your 100% and say, but here's what I'm going for, everything changes. This is so simple and probably one of the hardest things that we can do, because fear drives our life. And fear is an internal response we experience in the present as it pertains to the unwanted future that we're living into. That's all fear is. Fear is there to tell you you're living into the future that you don't want to live into, and it's creating you, which means it's going to drive you into that future. That's why, as cheesy and cliche, we've heard our whole lives, is the only thing to fear is fear itself. Because it literally becomes the thing that drives you to where you don't want to go, and that's where you end up going. And if you could just start to play around with that, is that we're just constantly creating predictions of the future, but the future is anything but certain. You do not have a time machine. No, it's my intuition. No, it's not. That's spiritual ego. Your ego is so smart. It's almost as smart as you. And once you learn terms like intuition, your ego will start to say, you're like, I think that's fear. It's like, no, that's your intuition telling you you're going to fail. Like, that's not how intuition works. Your intuition isn't whispering into your ear going, this is going to fail. You're a loser. See, I got these intuitive hits that I'm a loser and not good enough. That's not how intuition works. So the future is anything but certain. Stop thinking you know how it's going to go, because it's going to go how you choose to create it. Always. And I'm just speaking from experience.
I think for me too, the thing that has helped me with fear too is actually like playing out the different things that could happen and make peace with all of them.
100%.
So if I was doing a launch and I was fearing 0 sales, then actually go, well, okay, is that the worst? What would I do then? Well, I could launch again. I could go back to the people. And it just takes kind of the pressure off when you are willing to call out that worst fear and speak it, and even better, speak about it with someone else. It totally takes the wind out of it.
Yes. Yeah, because that's where we've been giving our energy, our attention, our power to all that. And it's amazing when you are okay with it, it just calls all of that back. It no longer has a power over you. When you're just like, doesn't matter, it's okay. And I know it's hard. I know this is hard. It's simple. It's very simple. It's hard, but we need to be learning this. And that's the beautiful thing about what we're doing is you learn it through the experience. You have to. So the final ending, and not to like spoil your final ending, but if you guys are listening to this and like, yeah, I want that. Well, when you get the results that you want in your business, that's the fact and the evidence that you conquered that. Because you can't get there without going through that. And that's pretty awesome. And a lot of what drives me today is that my own growth of like whatever goal it is. It's not a goal out of like, because I need it, because I'm nothing without it or whatever, or because that's when people will finally like me or I'll be enough or whatever. It's no, because I know that when I hit this, that will mean I had to grow or evolve or go through something and learn something. And that's what drives so much of me today.
So good. So good. I would love to hear everyone's favorite thing from what we talked about. And I would love for you, Team Wedmore is doing something really fun where you're submitting. Can you talk about the submissions for 100 leads? Because I know I have links.
Yeah. So
for that.
I kind of teased everyone on the last thing. I was like, whatever I can do to motivate you to get into action to do this, I'll do it. And if that means dangling free one-on-one coaching sessions with me in front of you, so be it. I don't do any one-on-one coaching anymore. So this is a fun, unique opportunity. We're going to get on a call one-on-one. We can go over anything you want. We can brainstorm your business. The process is simple. I mean, it's like, there's just no catch other than you need to do the work. And it's what, the 15th? So I think that's Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is the deadline for, and there's the link for it, for submitting into the giveaway. And you just have to show that you've played full out with us. You did it. We don't care. It's not about like who has the most numbers. Like, well, James, I only got 2 leads, or I only got 2 people interested. I only got 1 person. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was so hooked and attached to the results. When we need to be focused on like the action, I'm doing the things, I'm moving forward. I'm gaining from that experience. And we are, by the way, when you submit, if we choose you and you haven't gone through, I think it's like 80% of the program. It's like 14 videos. They're like 10 minutes each. We watch movies that are longer than that. Then you're disqualified. So we're requiring you to go through at least 80% of the program and just show some work. And the reason we do that is if I can dangle that carrot and motivate you in one more way, one more incentive. Now, it shouldn't be the incentive, to be quite honest. The incentive should be like your vision and how excited you are to start helping people and making money in this business, because coaching, digital products, this is the hands down the most profitable and absolutely most fulfilling business model out there on the internet. This is what I've been doing for 15 years. And this is like a really hard part for people. It's just getting out there and getting those people. And I want to get you out of that 0 to 5 miles an hour inertia. And so that's what we're doing there. And you have until Sunday at midnight.
Awesome. I have to. So Denise said, OMG, all skeletons out of the closet, no hiding. Can we talk about that for a second? Because I know that can be really scary to be like, oh my gosh, a 1-to-1 call. But what is the opportunity there? Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, you guys have had a lot of questions, and, you know, we got Brooke on for 5 minutes, and, but most of us is like in a group. So sometimes it's challenging to just get to the bottom of it faster. And when we can talk one-on-one, we can really go in 2 different directions, both directions at the same time. Actually, it's like, if you use this analogy of a car, I like that analogy. Well, I'm going to give you a roadmap for how to get to where you want to go. But then we're also going to look at where you still got the darn brakes on. You know, what's tripping you up? What's slowing you down? And for Brooke, she might already have a plan. Like, yeah, I mean, I know my services, when I can get them into my world, I can close them, I can work with them. But man, what's really holding me up is I'm just worried, like, I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. Well, we got over that in 2 seconds, you know? And that's what I want for you guys. I want the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, where you are to where you want to be. I always want to give people that most efficient straight line. And then I want to make sure we don't have the brakes on. And we have to work with both of those forces, where we're going and what's preventing us from getting there.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. And everyone who's watching, you stayed till the end, which is amazing. I would love it. Just say thank you to James, and say thank you by sharing your favorite thing. What's the favorite quote? I always love to know, like, what are people's favorite quotes of yours throughout? So put that in the chat. And then what else do you have coming up? Because I know Team Wedmore is putting together some fun things.
Yeah, we've got a lot of fun things, including, well, I'll work backwards. June 2nd is, man, it's right around the corner, isn't it? is our big one time a year training event where because a lot of people are asking like, okay, what's next? People are interested. Like, how do I turn this into an offer, a product, a program, a course? How do I get clients? And then hopefully you're also asking like, how do I really make this a real business? Real business means it's profitable. You're making money, but you're going to keep it. And there's a lot of people out there, sadly, that have kind of like those marketer math numbers, and they might be touting some numbers, but they're like hurting financially behind the scenes because they didn't structure the business right. And so we bring the whole enchilada to you guys. And June 2nd, we're kicking that 3-part training off. We've been able to build an 8-figure a year company just around a handful of digital products. I mean, technically it's one, and it is unbelievable. And that's because for years I had a multiple 7-figure business around my $97 YouTube and video marketing program. And I show people how to do that. We're going to walk through the whole model, and it's going to be a really fun thing. It's live training. We're going to have a live in studio audience. It's 5. I think we've whittled it down to 5 people that are going to be there live with us, that we're going to like be coaching them on their businesses as we go through. So you're going to get to know them. You're going to see a ton of the alumni of Business by Design who have been with us for a year now, and where their businesses are just a year later. And I'm going to show you a very unique and different way of how to market, how to sell, and really how to structure this business. Before then, we do have an assessment that I think is really powerful, because what you'll learn in the training is that a very simple thing I share is that the role that you fill in your business will determine the results that you receive. And so unfortunately, a lot of us come from Nicole posted it, come from a career background where we've spent most of our lives being an employee. So we're actually more operating like and tell me who's guilty of that. I'm just curious, out of you guys here live with me, you can just say me, who's kind of guilty of operating more like an employee in your own business than being the business owner. And what that means in a nutshell is like all you're focused on is how long and how hard you work, and just working. And that's like, yeah, of course you would do that, because that's what that's what you did when you were an employee. Your value was based on your work, your time, and your effort. And sadly, what do we have is like, it's like a epidemic of our industry, is most people are overworking and not seeing any to little results whatsoever. And you might be seeing that yourself with others. So you think working harder and longer is going to fix that? If they're working 12 hours and barely eking by, you think if you work 14 that it'll pop? And that's a very dangerous route, because they're still working like an employee, and you're still working like an employee. Then don't ever expect more than an employee's salary. And unfortunately, what you realize is that if you're an employee in your business, but there are roles that aren't being filled by anybody, it really doesn't matter how long or how hard you work. Consider the possibility that you are avoiding the roles that your business needs you to fill. And it's time to fill those first. So that assessment asks 15 questions. I think that the questions are more valuable than the result you're going to get. And this is what I really try to tell people, is that if we could sit down and I can ask you 15 questions about your business, these are the 15 questions I would ask. And sadly, how you answer, I mean, it's not really sad. It's just kind of an uncomfortable truth. I could pretty much guess how much money you're making. And that's how powerful the questions are. So don't disregard the questions and try to get to the end result and say, what's my result? Consider for a moment, be the smart one and say, why is he asking me this question? Do you have a back end offer after people buy your first stuff? Why is he asking that? Because you need to have one, right? Do you have blah, 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 blah? Why is he asking that? Because you need to have that. And just kind of be mindful of the questions as you go through them. I think on average, people take about 64 seconds to go through it. You just know it or you don't. No, I don't have a back end offer. Okay. Do you have anyone on that works with you? Virtual assistant? No, it's just me. Okay. Why is he asking these questions? And then it's going to put you into a category of really how the be do have of the being, how you've been showing up and working in your business, and what really will need to shift to change all that. And I think you guys will find that really powerful. So yeah, this is exciting. This is fun times, and we're gonna kick it off on June 2nd with a really powerful training. Again, a lot of people have been saying, I'm not trying to like, well, yeah, I'll toot my own horn. I don't really care. You guys should be tooting your horns.
Don't be humble, James. Didn't you just say that to me like a week ago?
Yeah, no, I mean, I did say, no, I said, be humble.
I know.
But I think it's really hard for us, Nicole, to like, but we find our way as like, always be humble, but don't, let me say it this way, be humble and honor and value who you are and what you bring to the world. It's not one or the other, folks. You can be both. To me, humbleness, humility is knowing that even if if I make more money than you in my business, that doesn't make me better than you. That doesn't make me more valuable than you. That doesn't mean anything about me compared to you. The only thing it could mean is maybe I've been doing something a little longer. I'm sure if you did this for 15 years straight, you'd figure it out eventually too. So someone just doing something longer than you or learn something that you just weren't taught doesn't say, so I always want to come with that, but we also don't want to like not honor the value we bring to the world. And so what a lot of people share with me in the 100 leads is I'm buying paid programs that aren't as good as this. And that's because I think this is my theory is because I just got really obsessed less on anything other than how do I really create something that will cause a result for somebody else? Begin in the client's end in mind. The rise of digital CEO, June 2nd, is no different. You will see that. And yes, I sell stuff. And yes, I want every single one of you to join us inside Business by Design. It's one time a year I offer it. And there'll be even more of that. And that's where people say this is like gold because of what we do in there and what we offer in there and how it's different. And that's where the rest of the year I go to work helping my people. But we have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people join us in this free training. And I hope you guys will too, because I know you're going to get something out of it. Guaranteed. I don't do the fluff. I've been doing this for too long to just do fluff. I don't have time for fluff because I got too much stuff I got to teach and too much stuff I got to share with you guys. And so we jump into it. So get ready.
And we'll be sending out that link. And that's what I said at the beginning before you came on, before I gave you the wrong link to show up for the Q&A, that training is the major thing that changed everything.
Just to give you a little credit, you didn't give me the wrong link. You gave me the right link and the wrong link. So
good.
You gave me two links and I chose, you gave me the right link first. And then it had all the Zoom info with a different link. And I was like, this looks like the right one. And I clicked on that.
Okay.
So
the truth comes out.
I clicked on one of the links I chose wrong.
You're here. That's what matters. But seriously though, because when I signed up for the Rise, I had watched it a few times at that point in 2018. I think I might have even watched it before then. And I finally joined Business by Design in 2019, and it really changed the way we operated. So it really is no joke. It really is no joke. Yeah. And even just being present for it and watching how you deliver the information will make a shift. So when we send the link out, definitely jump on it. You have one last question.
Can we address Tony's question? Great. Tony, can we bring you on live or do you want to go to the chats? How do you want to do this? Because I attract a lot of people that are in Tony's world of like, I do something a little bit less tangible. Mm-hmm. What do I do?
Tony, let us know. Live is fine. All right, we're bringing.
Come on
we're bringing her
down.
up.
The price is right.
We thought we were wrapping up, and we're going one more. Okay.
Nicole's secretly like, "Are you kidding me, James? Come on."
Let's see. Nope, should be okay. One more step. Okay.
One more step.
Okay, Tony, you should be able to turn your camera on
and unmute. There you go.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Tony.
Hi. How are you?
So good. Let's get right into it. So what if our business has a more intangible outcome? Here's the first question. By the way, everyone else who's like feels the same way, like I have a less intangible outcome, and just say me in the chat box. So it's not just Tawny, because I want to, because this, if it's you, this is going to be relevant, obviously, to you, this conversation. Here's the most important place I want you to start with, Tawny. Hey, who we got there?
Sorry, it's my daughter. She was just yelling, so I grabbed her. This is Ava.
Hey, Ava, you are adorable. I know you can't hear me because your mom has headphones on, but you're adorable. Okay, so what's the goal with the model? Are we selling one-on-one? We got a membership? Are we doing a course? What's the goal? Tell me the goal.
So I have a course. It's a group coaching course. I already have a couple people in it. It's just more that I work with chronic pain stuff, and I know that I'd like them to get into movement and exercise. And but most of the time when people, if we're talking about the end in mind, not everybody's always thinking about the external outcome. They just like, I just want to live pain-free, which is kind of a hard one to do. So I picked an external outcome. Sorry.
Stay with me. This is great because you're already on it. So first of all, you're saying you want a group, or you have a group coaching program. Does this mean you said like it was a group coaching course? Is it more like I take people through something every week for a series of weeks, or is it just like you join and there's videos?
I take them through like a presentation, and then I have like a group coaching piece at the end.
Beautiful. Okay. So I say that line again. I just want to live without.
A lot of them, yeah, they whittled down their life to pretty much nothing. So a lot of them have trouble conceptualizing what it looks like to actually do things without pain. So they're like, if you ask them what they want, they're like, I just want to be pain free. Yes. So I know eventually they want to get back into movement and all this other stuff. But I when I speak to that, I speak to what I know what they will need, but not necessarily what they want at the beginning. So I think I'm having trouble selling that.
No. Yes, you've got something, a little wire miscrossed that we're going to fix for you, which is you're actually already doing the right thing, and you're spot on. They're not there. They're not able to see what they actually want. Mama. The transformation is I'm done with this. I don't want this anymore. That's the transformation. So watch this. As everyone listen, because this is what she's doing, right? Get out of debt in 10 days or less. Okay. What is that? That is a transformation. Yes or no? Can you guys see that in the chat box? Get out of debt in 10 days or less. That's the transformation. Now, I'm not going to go, if I was using that offer, I'm not going to go into a whole world of what they want to do with their life when they get out of debt, because they're not there yet. And you're spot on. They're not there yet. You can follow up with that. You can then, like, as you've created, because there's some phases. I'm going to teach you guys this when we get to it. We're not there yet, but there's some phases that we take people through where first they go, this is for me. Ooh, okay. Yeah, she's talking to me here. Tawny's speaking my language. I'm interested. And then they go, so I think this is possible. And then they go, this is possible for me. And then the final one is, this is possible for me right now. Right. And so we just got to get them to, like, it's possible to get out of the pain or reduce the pain or live with the pain in a more mitigated way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think it was trying to be specific, because everybody wants to know, like, how long will it take, but it's complex because some of them have trauma. So I'm like trying to figure out like a tangible way of presenting what they want.
You know what you say when they say, how long is it going to take? The answer is always, it's going to take what it's going to take. And are you willing to give what it takes? The process works, and it's going to take what it's going to take. And everything is copy and messaging, right? Because then well, how long is this going to take? And it's like, well, how long have you already spent your life struggling with pain? and not gotten any better? Are you really worried about how long is it going to take? Are you willing to do what it takes? Because it's going to take what it's going to take. And it's like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? So you're great with what you have right now. If we're looking for, I don't think you need any more tangibility. Okay. When I mean tangibility versus what let's refer to as intangibility, is people use a lot of this flowery language. Like, I help you unleash your most empowered self so you can be free and express your heart's desires in the universe. The heck am I talking about? I could be talking about a lot of things. Now, the one thing I will say that can serve you, what kind of pain are we talking about? Now, we're probably talking about chronic pain, right? Mm-hmm. So is it chronic pain in specific areas caused by specific things? Is there any other specificity we can bring to it?
You could probably say, and that's where a little bit of trouble is, because most people assume chronic pain is based off of a physical tissue thing. And it's not. It's usually about the brain processes and central sensitization. So there's like two audiences I almost speak to. One who knows what central sensitization is. And then there's the other one that just believe that they need more injections and more like surgeries or whatever because they need a physical tissue fix.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you can hit both those audiences with the same offer because it's just where their level of awareness is. And you're probably going to see more of them in the like, what was that you just said? I don't know what that is, right? But my question is, let's say I'm your target, what is in pain for me? What caused it? How long is it? Can you just pick one person, me, and describe what my life is?
It might be someone with fibromyalgia. So that's pain everywhere.
Okay.
What was the second question?
Is there anything? Well, I was looking for more data because when you say I want to be pain free, are these migraines? Is this from some like serious injuries? Is this a health condition? I'm looking for more of that data for specificity.
Oh, see, and I think that's tough because it can be one part and it can be lots of body parts. The most common ones is you have multiple areas of pain. Mm-hmm. Migraines are like a subcategory of that body part area.
So what I'm looking for, and this is really important what we're doing, and you're doing really great. You just need to do the pain-free or, live with reduced pain or however you feel comfortable with those promises. You don't need to worry. You really don't need to spend much time on that because you're absolutely right. That's where they are. I just need kiddo on the other side of this. And that's where the focus is. Now, what we want to do is make sure they know she's talking to me. Mm-hmm. She's taught, oh my gosh, this is for me. Mm-hmm. Not, oh, I'm hearing this thing and I know I have pain, but I don't know if this is for me yet. Mm-hmm. So whether you've been struggling with fibromyalgia, I always struggle saying that. So don't make fun of me. A really hard time with some words are tough, guys. Whether you're struggling with FM, I think those are the two letters, or this or that, mm-hmm. then I'm here to tell you you're in the right place. But if we're keeping it broad, mm-hmm. like you're struggling with pain and then we get into the science of it, but I'm like, wait, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah.
You lost me. Yeah. So remember I said the first one is I say, oh, this is interesting because this is for me. Mm-hmm. So we're doing those. And you can eat your ads, and it's okay if she's doing her little cute stuff. I'm not distracted by it, and you have the replay. Let her be. This happens every time. It's called the Love Zoom, and it happens every time. So you could have different ads and marketing subsets. Like I'm going to target just people with fibromyalgia. I'm going to target people that are just experiencing this. I'm going to target people this, but I'm doing one webinar launch promotion funnel offer, whatever, that lists those out. So whether you're struggling with this, or maybe you're struggling with this, or you're like some of my clients who come to me that have had this and you're now doing with this, I'm here to tell you you're in the right place, because no matter what type of, obviously you add the correct words. I do not know your niche, just like I don't know birthing. God, you guys are giving me some challenging ones today, huh? But I got it, because it really doesn't matter if you're in any one of those, because they're all caused by the same thing, or they're all connected to the same thing, which is this. Mm-hmm. Through a very powerful process, and this is like our vehicle and our domino belief. We're going to help you to do this. So let me understand. Let me explain the science to you. Let me share with you how this works. And then you're bringing in the case studies. And I know some of this might sound, you might be sitting there feeling so relieved. I finally found my person that's going to help me. And there's an answer. And you might still be a little skeptical. Like I've heard these things before. So let me introduce you to boom, case study, case study, case study. So as long as you're getting specific, you can list them out. So when I do my stuff, you'll hear me. I said, so whether you're a coach looking to get one-on-one clients, or you already have a digital product, maybe it's a course, a membership, or a group coaching program, and you feel like every time you launch it, it just feels off. Or maybe you've been doing this for some time and your numbers feel like they're plateauing and there's something more that you've been missing that's preventing you from taking your business from 6 to 7, or maybe 7 to 8. So you can bring in the if this, then that, or this. Maybe you're this, or perhaps you're this, or maybe you're that. And so you bring in that specificity and you'll bring in your people. But don't worry about the intangibility. Focus on the specificity and you'll be just fine.
Cool. So it kind of goes in line with like Brandon Lucero stuff, like pain greater than 6 months, like be like oddly specific kind of thing.
Oddly specific. It goes directly in line with what he's saying. 100%. Oddly specific. And the transformation they want, I'm assuming, is the same thing that someone who's in debt right now you're not going to talk to them about like how to get your dream house, how to get out of debt so you can buy your dream house, get a fancy Tesla and a boat. No, I'm in survival mode. So when you play around with Matt, you guys can all, just to like learn things. I love learning. I don't know if people like learning. I'm assuming you guys all do. Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the emotional scale. These are very powerful frameworks to look at in our marketing. If you're in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you're in survival, where food, shelter, water, like my actual survival is at stake. You're not worried about self-actualization. You're not worried about transcendence. You're not worried about enlightenment. You're worried about where am I going to get my next meal? You look at the emotional scale, it's the same thing. If someone is depressed, they're not looking to get into bliss and joy and ecstasy and gratitude and all that stuff. It's too far a jump. The same in the weight loss industry. Anyone who's been successful in the weight loss industry will tell you the person that has a lot, like morbidly obese, is really looking to lose weight, is not looking to get a 6-pack. Right? It's the same thing. So we don't need to make that big jump. It'll almost be too much of a disconnect. Now, what you can do is make the promise and say, lose the, or get rid of the pain. And then we start to speak to or future pace what they will want after that. And here's what's exciting, because I can imagine that one of the reasons why you're here isn't just because you want to get rid of the pain, but you know that the pain that you've been dealing with has prevented you from living life in ways that you've wanted to. Things that you used to say yes to are now a no. The experiences that you crave, whether it's going to Disneyland with your kids, putting them on your shoulders, or going on that vacation, or really just are something that you can't even put your mind on right now because this pain is so real and in your face. And that's why this is so important, because it's not just about getting out of the pain, but this is about getting your life back. And I know if you're like most of my clients, you've put your life on hold, haven't you? And it's time we change that.
That's awesome. It sounds like you've been working in that industry forever.
Nope. But you do something long enough, you start to realize it's all the same. You know what I mean? We're all humans. We all have our hopes, our desires. We all have our problems. And there's just those universal conditions. So, okay. Feeling good?
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's great.
All right, you guys. Thanks, Tony.
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay. What else, Nicole? Are we good?
Depends how long you want to go. You got another question.
Is that Stacey's question?
Yeah. Just do like a 30-second.
I'm going to do a 30-second one for, if I pronounce your name properly, hopefully Stacia. How to do this with personal development, helping midlife women get out of a slump to achieve goals in second half of life. Yeah, it's challenging in the in things like this because it's very easy to be intangible and broad. So what I'm going to ask you to do here is humor me on this, because this has been a very common theme. And I do this and I teach my clients to do it. And about half of them take me up on it and listen to this advice, and the other half don't. And it just proves itself. So what happens is Stacia, let me know first, am I saying your name properly so I don't sound like an idiot? I sound like a moronic idiot. Stacy. Okay. It's like Stacy, you idiot. Or now wait, Stasha? Now I'm just totally confused.
Oh, Stasha. Yes. That makes more sense. Stasha.
Okay, Stasha, thank you. Yes,
Thank you.
I'm like, I don't think I'm doing this right, guys. This is my first time here. Okay. So now I lost my train of thought. All right.
You
talk to me in the comments. I got this. So yes or no? You are a coach and you've gotten coaching yourself and you love coaching, or you've done something, and it's just like, this thing lights me up and I love doing it. And I say, I just want to go out there and I just really want to coach people. Is that true or false? Like I had some, well, Denise, it's true for Denise. You know, like, yeah, I got some coaching and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then like, maybe I learned, okay, great. Well, this is going to prove my point even more. I want to develop a course. Beautiful. Okay. So you, in an unintentional way, prove my point more. What happens is we have a lot of people that are coaches, and most coaches, sadly, like coaching is what the world needs. Gosh, if everyone had a coach, we would change the planet overnight. A great coach, of course. You'd have to be a good coach. And so the problem is coaches will just make awful marketers. They are like the worst. They cannot sell their stuff to save their life. And what they end up doing is they try to sell courses that are their coaching, and they wonder why they fail. And what I want to offer is that when you change to creating something that is a very specific, you're going to learn how to learn this specific skill, method, etc. That changes everything. And so what instead people are doing is they're trying to create this kind of like broad, general, nebulous coaching program. Like, I'm going to help you crush your goals. I'm going to help you become more productive. I'm going to help you get more results in your life. And I'm sorry to say, but unless you are just like masterful at marketing and already have a really well-known brand, it's a damn near impossible sell. It does really low in terms of performance and results. And so the answer, and you're like, but that's what I want to do. Well, this is where I bring in the Thigh Master example. The Thigh Master started as a failed product called the V-Bar. No one's heard of the V-Bar. And then when they put a red ball on it and 2 blue handles, that's what it was before. They just changed the design and the style. It is did the same thing. And before it was an all body workout. And now it's the Thigh Master. And then they put Suzanne Summers there and it became record breaking. Highest selling, converting, performing info product ever. For like the next decade or so, it like held that record. Same product, flopped, rebranded and packaged. That's what we're always doing. Okay. So we need to package things in a way that people will buy them. And exactly, Denise is saying like that is some specificity. And so what is something very specific that I can teach that people, that even a complete stranger without knowing me will go boom. And so what I tell people, this is that advice, was if you have the like coaching thing, that's kind of like, oh, we're going to help you kind of crush this, but it's like more general, save that for your back end offer. And start with a very specific, you're going to learn a specific how-to blank. And then once they learn that thing, and I know I'm kind of keeping it general for now, and so it can apply to everybody, then we can move into something that's more like intent or broader as an offer. Okay. Okay. So I'm in education, so I want to use my background to create lessons and a syllabus to help midlife creative women take action. Great. So this is what I'm getting at. You're close. Take action towards what? what do they want to take action on? And because here's what I'm going to tell you. No one wants to buy a course on how to take action. And taking action, sadly, and I'm just telling you, these are just fundamental marketing principles. Like, a lot of people disagree with things I say because it's very counterintuitive what I say, but it's like taking action is not a result. I know I'm going to help you with this. So what do they want to take action on? And when they take action, what result will they get? And so just start putting it into the chat box. Stasha, please. When I take action, what result will I get? So confidence is actually not a transformation. It's an internal state. Okay. Now we can do creativity if we do it right. If you have a creativity process to unlock higher levels of creativity, I know people that have done that, but it's like, I have a methodology for tapping into higher levels of creativity, so that you can flourish in your field or be better at your job or whatever, right? But what is the thing that they want? Confidence, a lot of people, confidence is what we need. It's not what we want. No, my people say they want confidence. And then if you ask them, what do you believe confidence will give you? Then they'll tell you what's on the other side of that. So then we keep going, just keep writing stuff out. What do you think? What do they believe confidence will give them? What will more confidence give them? And creativity to do what? What will that creativity give them? And we just keep playing around with this and see if anything else comes up, Stasha. I'll let you try that out. And I hope that's yes. What's their goal? Good. So it's achieve their goals. Good. What's their goal? Because most people, I'm just sharing facts, who have created like, I'm going to help you achieve your goals faster type product, the product tanks. And it's because if I had two products that said, I have a product for you guys on how to accomplish your goals faster. And I had another product on how to get to 10K months with your coaching and digital products, but you could only buy one. They're both the same price. Which one would you get? Most people would say, I'll get the one, sell the digital product. And you go, why? Well, because that's my goal. Isn't that interesting? That's my goal. So people buy the program that will help them hit their goal. That is their specific goal. So most people don't go around saying, I want to hit my goals. They say, I want to hit 10K in my business. I want to lose 10 pounds on my body. I want to learn a new skill. I want to do boom. So are we just talking about goals, or are we selling the actual goal they want? I hope that makes sense.
That does. And I'm going to wrap it up here for you, because I know James is the biggest over deliverer in the world, and you'll keep going forever.
Oh yeah. Nicole makes fun of me that I just keep talking forever. So I'll stop.
So I'm going to cut you off, but there's options for you. If you have questions, you can post them in our Facebook group, the Moms in Biz Facebook group. I'll go and I'll follow up with questions, and then just stay tuned for what we have coming. The Rise of the Digital CEO, June 2nd, you'll be able to, because you'll be doing more Q&As for that also.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for your
time.
Yeah.
And Denise, of course, you're amazing too. Your peeps are amazing. Denise, intermittent fasting is a fantastic vehicle.
You literally can't help yourself.
I threw it in there for you, Denise. You're doing great. Don't do ones like, there was one of those in there. I was like, no, don't do that. Like critical thinking. You need that, but that's not going to sell. Like, hey, all you guys need to get 100 leads is just more critical thinking. And I have a program on how to think critically. You wouldn't buy it. But if I said, guys, I'm going to show you the whole process, the intermittent fasting diet, and it's going to blow your mind. I got the science to back it up. It's the easiest diet to do. It's going to have you lose the most weight fastest because of what it does to the metabolism. I'm going to show you what foods to eat, when to eat them, how to eat them, everything you can and can't eat, all that stuff. And I'm going to give you the motivation to do it. You guys are signing up for Denise's program, right? Damn straight. Denise, awesome. Send them the link. Okay. Send them the link, Denise, and everyone just go buy it. There, sold it for you.
Okay. Also, another way to say thank you to James, they probably all know where to find you, but you can either snap a pic right here of James' face. He turned his camera on for us. We're smiling. Or just share your favorite thing on Instagram and tag him and me too. So thanks for being here. You're the best.
You're the best. Thanks, Nicole. Let's do it again sometime.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How about 1 year? 1 year from now.
I'll
See you in a year.
I'll see you in a year.
All right. Thanks, James. Have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for participating. This was fun.
Bye.
All right. Bye.